Live from our man caves. Saturday morning, your new Saturday morning pregame show, Group of Five Live, brought to you by us, the Group of Five guys. Took a week off of traveling. We've been all over the country so far this year. We're taking a little time to rest, relax, spend a little bit of time with the families while sitting on our best recliners watching college football all day long and really all week long, starting Tuesday night this week it was. But we're fired up to be here. If you don't know who we are, Jesse Grisham, Tyler Tipton, Jeff Murphy, I am Matt Sprouse. We are the Group of Five guys. Our goal is to be the voice for the Group of Five football programs that the mainstream sports media absolutely refuses to do. We need your help to do that. We need you to follow us on all the social media platforms at Group of Five Guys. Go to groupof5guys.com, get you some Group of Five Guys swag. Subscribe to our channel, YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify. Give us a 5-star rating and review. Leave a comment. Tell your family and friends all about us. We got a live Saturday morning show every Saturday morning. It should be your new game day show, and a live Tuesday night recap show every single week. Please go check it out. It'll help us out a ton. Guys, it's a couple games already this week, a couple Wednesday, Thursday games. FIU at New Mexico State. Tip, you called it on Tuesday. Diego Pavia, he's back. New Mexico State looked like the team that we kind of had an inkling would be in the preseason we thought they would be. And, you know, my Panthers of Florida International just couldn't keep up is really what happened there, Tip. So I'm going to go to you first on this one. New Mexico State, what'd they do?
Well, they looked great on offense. Like you said, Diego Pavia looked great. You know, he was 20 for 31, 256 passing yards, 2 touchdowns. Did have 1 interception, but played a good game. And just Florida Internationals they've just been struggling the last couple of weeks. They're struggling to score points. And we'll see, you know, how New Mexico State continues to play for the rest of the year, because we saw it last year with Pavia. He was a little inconsistent at times from game to game. So this looks like that this was a good game for him. So we can see if they continue this momentum going into next week.
Yeah, and pretty good environment there at New Mexico State. Scary thing for FIU is freshman quarterback who's kind of been the spark that FIU had earlier in the year, got hurt with like hardly any time left on the clock. They were down. The game was out of reach, and he took off on a run, slid, and then the New Mexico State player kind of dove over him, but caught a piece of him. Little whiplash on the helmet. It looked like a potential concussion. So we'll see. I didn't get a report or anything. I didn't see a report on how long he may or may not be out. But that's not good for FIU, because they've lost a couple in a row, but they were starting to look like get a little bit better, and part of it was that quarterback. So you hope that he is going to be back healthy next time they take the field. Also in Conference USA, Liberty Flames. Thursday night game in a tight one against Sam Houston. And Sam Houston, man, they got to be the best 0-5 team in the history of football. Their defense is very good. Very, very good. And you got to give a shout-out to Liberty. Goal line stand there at the end of the game. That corner, number 3, 2 big, big pass breakups, although one of them probably should have been an interception that he dropped. But big defensive stand. Great crowd there in Lynchburg, Virginia. Liberty gets the win for Chadwell, and they're sitting there undefeated right now, Swaggy.
Yeah, well, it takes a good team to know how to win. I mean, if you are 2-2, 0-4, whatever, it's harder to win that game. I mean, these guys know how to win. They have a culture already in winning. It also helps to have a supporting fan base behind you, creating noise and causing chaos to be able to try to score there. I can tell you another university that if it was fourth quarter with the game on the line, you probably still would hear the quarterback breathing. So, but yeah, big time win for Liberty. I think it just comes down to the culture over there at Liberty, what they already have established.
No, I agree with you. They brought over, a bunch of staff, obviously with Chadwell from Coastal, and
Yeah.
I mean, you're seeing it already, and they're they are in a bad conference, and so they got a chance every week. I mean, that being said, we told y'all Sam Houston and Jacksonville State would ruin a few people's seasons. And
Yes.
Sam Houston hadn't done it yet, but they probably will. And Jacksonville State, if they weren't on a transition, hell, they'd be sitting there at the top of the damn conference right now. So, but shout out to Sam Houston, tight game. They're going to get a win. They're 0-5. They're gonna end up beating a team or two, maybe more than that. But Liberty continues to get it done, and then Western Kentucky, they seem like they're getting better every week.
Yeah.
And Malachi Corley, I mean,
Whew.
that dude, I didn't realize he was as physical as he was. But he had 2 big touchdown plays where he damn near trucked a DB on the sideline and was able to stay in bounds and then put on the burners and outrace everybody. That guy is ridiculously good.
He'll be playing on Sundays.
Yeah, he's gonna be the one. Here we'll say it now. Like we have a guy or two like this every year. He's gonna be the guy that we're all talking about. We've been talking about him since preseason, and then he's gonna probably go to the Senior Bowl, have a really good couple of days at the Senior Bowl. He'll get a little bit of publicity there. He'll get drafted on the second or third day, and then you're gonna hear about him right about this time in the NFL season. Everybody's gonna be.
He'll be
picking
the
him up on
top
their
player at
fantasy team.
training
Yeah.
camp, and
Yeah. He'll be the guy that nobody, quote unquote, nobody heard of, and he'll be that guy. But Austin Reed and Malachi Corley and Western just seems like they're clicking at the right time. It's very interesting with them. They're, to me, completely opposite teams, but kind of like Troy. Like it's just kind of like the last couple, like just taking them a while to get going, and they're getting going right in time for conference play. And I don't know the way Liberty looked the other night, the way Western looked the other night. Before this week, I would have probably said Liberty looked the best in the conference, but I think Western looks like the clear favorite in my mind, Jeff.
Well, it's funny too. You mentioned Troy, and we talked about on our Tuesday recap show how, like, Troy had that signature loss that kind of sparked them. I think that Western's loss to Troy really kind of sparked them. That they realized they probably should have beat a very good Troy team, and then they beat Middle, and they really get their offense rolling, and you just see what they did, against Louisiana Tech. I mean, yeah, I'm with you. I think that right now, I mean, week to week, some of these teams, like, they show up one week and don't the next, but Western seems like they got their offense rolling, and if they can put up points like they've been, I don't know too many defenses in Conference USA that can stop them.
Yeah, I don't know. The rest of Conference USA, I think, is pretty down. But I think Western, they went toe to toe with Troy, and so they're one of the top teams in the Group of 5. Now everybody else in that conference, I can't say the same for, but anytime you got weapons like Corley and a quarterback like Reed, you're gonna have a chance. And they get that guy the ball, he's trouble. But that was all the games in Conference USA. I'm just kidding. We got to talk about it, guys. We got to talk about it. And I'm glad that put it this way. I'm glad we didn't do this show at midnight on Wednesday night, because me and Swag had to have a therapy session.
I had to come to Jesus meeting
together. I mean, he called me at 11:59, and I was like, oh man, my kids are asleep, my wife's asleep, I can't get it. And then I was like, you know what, I need this too. So I called him back, and we just talked it out. And
I'm glad you guys had a therapy session. I was taking live bullets all over Twitter, getting tagged in every pissed off Blue Raider.
Can I just say,
Twitter
Jeff,
thread.
I respect you standing up for what you believe in. I really do. But after that performance, I mean, I saw you taking shots, and I probably could have stood there and tried to help you out on Twitter, but I was like,
I wasn't defending the performance.
I know. But there's just a lot of stuff going on, and we're not going to get into all of that noise. But what I just got to say, just get this off my chest, and we'll move on. MTSU has the worst offensive line in the country. No doubt about it. No doubt. Tag me if you don't believe so. I will send film. Why do we have guys on a continuous basis that do not understand that whenever a ball is punted
Oh,
and you have 5 guys around you, why do you want to touch that ball? Why? Why is it not engraved in your brain? I
Just get
don't
away.
understand that.
Just get
Just
away
get
from
away
the
from
ball.
it. They said Peter for a reason. They call it Peter Pumpkin Eater. You don't want to touch the ball. But this guy over here, it's like he had a freak out moment. And he just,
well,
and I get it. When I was a senior, junior, so I false started. Wow. You know, it's easy to
Way
say that when
different.
you false start.
Yeah.
It's way different. I know not to touch the freaking pigskin, especially when I'm on national television, which is another thing. Should have known before this year started how many times we're going to be on national television, because I don't know the stats of it right now, but every time we play on national television, I
not
feel
lying,
like
dude.
we
That ain't
get embarrassed. It's really, really disheartening. Yeah, you call me a bandwagon jumper. You know, if we win, I'm showing that true blue. I am disgusted right now. It was one of the hardest losses I've ever seen or felt. It wasn't the worst loss I've ever seen, but for some reason, this one just felt different. It was hard. Maybe because we were
Disgusting,
up so bad. Maybe because we were
Yeah,
up so
me and
much
Tip
and we
were
just let
there.
them come back.
Watch
Well,
it in person.
Well, it's
Yep, I
because
got
it hurts so bad just because there's nothing you can do about it, and it's just idiotic stuff. You're not getting beat because your offensive tackle is not getting beat because he can't block, the guy's too quick or whatever. He's getting beat because he's going the wrong way, or he's just not touching them, or the guard is just not coming over to the B gap to help, and then the tackle just lets him go in the B gap over and over and over. They're not bringing anything exotic, dude. Not half the time they weren't even bringing 4 guys, let alone anything extra. You should have had 2 guys to help out if they needed it, and they never got it. But let me just walk us through the problem with this game, because you score a touchdown and you go up 23-7, and your kicker shanks the extra point. Should have been 24-7. Then your defense holds again, and you drop a wide open touchdown pass. You should have been up 31-7. And in my opinion, if you go up 31-7 right before the half, you slam the door on Jacksonville State right there. But you don't. So now you're up 23-7, and you leave a little crack in the door. And then you come out, Jacksonville State goes and scores right away, but you're still up 2 scores. And then you just go 3 and out. You can't. Vadiato, look, whatever I have said in the past about Middle's offensive coordinator and the fast screen, I get it now. He doesn't know what to do because they can't run it. They can't block the run. They're starting out 2nd and 12 every drive. They're starting out 2nd and 12. Then they can't throw it. So then it's 3rd and 12, and I'm complaining about a fast screen, but it's like that's the only thing you can do. It's the only play that you can run. And the fact that Vadiato threw for 400 yards and 4 touchdowns or whatever he did the other night, credit to him. I mean, I don't know if that guy could be unbelievable if they would give him time. I think maybe, but I mean, you drop the pass and then you're still up, and then you muff that punt. And it wasn't even like he muffed the punt. Like, he's standing there watching it roll, like standing there looking at it, thinking, okay, I'm not going to touch this. I'm not going to touch this. Like, turn and run as fast as you can away from the ball. But he stands there, literally waits for all of Jacksonville State's punt team to get to the ball, and then thinks to himself, you know what? I'm going to grab this. Where was he going to go if he did get it? That's the other thing. I mean, just inexcusable, dude. And then, I mean, you're still in the game, and then even going to the end of the game when you're down. I didn't even mention Trey Fluellen getting thrown out of the game. That was borderline, whatever. That I don't blame him for that. That's a tough call. It's targeting. It's the new age of football. But then you even get down to the end of the game, and you kick the onside kick. And this was just like salt in the wound for me. You kick a perfect onside kick, and 3 Blue Raiders try to dive on the ball, and they all miss it. Yeah. All 3 of them just dive right over the ball. I've never understood that. I've never understood it because, a couple times in my life, I've been able to dive on a fumble, and it's pretty damn easy. You just dive on it and cradle the damn thing. But these guys, I mean, it was just, I don't know. I don't know. I'm sick. I'm still sick.
I just 1 second. Speaking of the onside kick, it was funny because, I was having adult beverages that night, and so I was doing my phone tagging. And I was talking to Zeke, who was at the game, and I was going on in his ear, talking about how bad we're playing, and he goes, well, we just got the onside kick. And I was like, oh, we got the onside kick, because it was ahead. We didn't get it. And then, two, I think it's hilarious. Right before this podcast started, Sprouse is like, we're not going to spend all this time talking about the Blue Raider game. It's
I can't do
Sprouse, catch your breath, bro.
Okay, hey, all right. Well, got to give Jacksonville State some credit.
For sure.
In the first half, Jacksonville State looked like Middle Tennessee did last week. They're throwing fast screens and Middle's tackling in the open field, and they keep running it. But then in the second half, it's like they just look like a whole new team. And I think part of it was Middle's defense, just the dam broke on them. I mean, they were holding them all night, and then, they couldn't hold them any longer. And then, for Jacksonville State, I was glad the announcers actually noticed it. It's what we've been saying. It's the worst thing. It's the worst thing you could do in football if your defense is struggling. And they literally, like, on 3 possessions in a row, went 3 and out in less than a minute. But somehow or another, they fixed it in the second half.
Well,
I guess you gotta give credit to them.
They started Logan Smothers, and he threw a pick. He did not look good. I mean, he's been the guy that's looked better the last 2 weeks. He comes out against Middle, does not look good. They put Zion Webb in, and hell, he's playing great, running the ball all over the place. Middle can't catch him, and that was part of the spark. But me and Tip were there live watching it, and we just the first drive of the game. I look at, I'm like, can we not block anybody? Like, literally 3 plays in a row. You run it, 2-yard loss. You throw it to second down. He's getting chased off of a quick game route, rolls left, throws out of bounds, and then gets sacked on the next play. And I'm just like, what is going on here? And then it was like that offensively the rest of the game. They couldn't block anything. It was bad. It was bad.
I'm not an advocate for, dividing the locker room, but somebody on that team has got to go to the offensive line film room whenever. Hopefully this has already happened, and just go off on that room, because you got to have some pride. Maybe they hate Nick Vadiano.
Single-handedly lost that game.
Yeah, I mean, for all the fans that have been, all the players that have ever played for Coach Stock love the guy. I want that guy to coach forever. We all want that guy to coach forever. Some of the fans are not starting to. Their voices are getting a little louder. Well, if you're on that O-line group, you're going to be the ones that let him go. Because that shit's just sad. I mean, that's I don't know. It's atrocious.
It's atrocious.
I mean, it is. But anyway, congrats, Jack.
Brought to you by the Blue Raider podcast.
So sorry about that. I tried, man. I tried.
I guarantee you people knew that we were going to come and talk about that loss. So
they're waiting for it. Yeah, they were hoping for it. But anyway, yeah, Conference USA, I mean, looks like Western and Liberty, right? Yeah. I mean, it's and Western, I think, is after this week looks to be a little bit better. I'll tell you what, the James Madison fans are going to be real happy if Liberty may drop in the poll. My God, James Madison might jump up to 4 this week if they can pull one out. But anyway, we got to talk about some games today. Not a lot of on paper, great games today. So it's probably going to be a little bit shorter of a show. And then, of course, Conference USA already played all their games this week, all the month of October. They're going to be playing Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. And then November, you got Maction in the middle of the week. So a little bit shorter show today. We're at the house. We're going to enjoy our time with family. In the American, UTSA at Temple. UTSA 2-touchdown favorites. I think UTSA is going to they better start clicking. They better start clicking right now. Otherwise, their season is going to be over real quick. North Texas at Navy. North Texas, we were high on this season or this preseason. They may beat Navy, but I don't know. Neither of those teams are looking like very threatening in this conference at all. Now, let me tell you a big one.
I'm surprised by this one.
South Florida Bulls favorites on the road against a home dog in UAB who has been improving week to week.
I don't get
4 p.m. game. Now, let me go to Jeff on this. You're a UAB guy. You like Zeno. You like the Blazers. What do you got?
Yeah, no, I do. I think Zeno's played pretty well most of this season. He's had some issues with interceptions. They've been running him quite a bit, which is kind of puzzling to me because you got Jermaine Brown Jr., who I think is honestly one of the best running backs in the group of 5. They just have not used him very much this year. They have in a couple games got him up to that 20 mark close to carries, but in other games he's only got like 5 or 6 carries. So I don't really understand what's going on there. It's a little confusing. Interesting to see how UAB plays, especially after that tough loss to Tulane last week with the whole Dilfer kind of blow up on the sideline. Going to be interesting to see some players, some players don't like that. And when your head coach does that, and I know when Strap was at middle, his players absolutely loved him. So you run the risk of possibly splitting some players there. But I do like UAB. I've always loved a home dog. Want to see Byron Brown on the road in this type of game because I think it's gonna be a big test for him. I think it's gonna be one of the bigger tests that he's had this year. I know he did play Alabama, but this is a conference game and it's a game they need to win. So I think you got two good quarterbacks going up against each other. Should be a great matchup.
Yeah, and Brown is your leading passer, obviously, and he's also your leading rusher if you're South Florida. So I think they got to figure something out. Can't run him too much, but if they win this game today, and then they'll be favored probably again next week versus FAU, they'll be 4-0 in the conference, and then they play UConn, and then they have a bye week before a massive game at Memphis after that. So the Bulls might be 4-0 in conference, 6-2 overall going into that Memphis game. I mean, you never thought they'd be bowl eligible, but they're looking like they're going to get bowl eligible by week 7 or 8 here. I like the Bulls, man. I think they're hot. I think this is going to be an awesome game, though. A lot of points, I would say. Then you got UConn at Rice. Rice quietly winning some games. They're 9.5-point favorites in that one. Tulsa at FAU. FAU looking to establish themselves. Tulsa been pretty hot as of late. FAU 3.5-point favorites at home. Jeff, FAU has got to find a run game, number one. But what else do they got to do to win this game?
Well, Casey Thompson's done for the season, and Daniel Richardson played well last week. I thought they let one go. I thought they should have had a Power 5 win against Illinois. What they need to do is get the ball to LaJohntay Wester. This guy is a stud on the outside. He's second in yards receiving in the American Conference. Get that young man the ball because he is an absolute playmaker. If they want to win this game, that's what they got to do. Now, Tulsa, they've been playing well the last couple weeks, but going on the road to, FAU, I think FAU plays better at home. I like the Owls in this one, but I think it's going to be a good game. I really do.
What about Swag? Are you back on the Tulsa bandwagon here, or are you going to hold off another week?
No, I'm on the Tulsa bandwagon.
Oh, boy.
I established that on Tuesday. I hope I didn't just jinx them for this game today, but FAU's very good, but I think Tulsa's going to be able to put some points on them. And as we're talking, I'm getting fired up. I'm locking in my parlays for the day. So I went ahead and took UAB plus 3.5, and I'm taking Tulsa plus 3. So,
Ooh. All right.
This is really good for me when we're at the house doing this because I'm just going to listen to y'all's good feedback, and I'm just going to go ahead and lock in some picks.
I'm on the Tulsa bandwagon too, boys. I'm jumping in the bandwagon with Swag Bear.
Okay.
There's just so many Group of 5 teams that are red hot right now and are playing their best football of the season right now, and Tulsa is one of those teams. So Sprouse, you'll appreciate this. It's like Eastern Conference Finals. Playoff Jimmy Butler, he can't miss. What are you going to do? You keep giving him the ball, right? Yeah. He's got the hot hand. Tulsa's a hot team. So until they lose, I'm going to pick them to win.
Well, is anybody going to do to Cardell Williams what Grant Williams did to Jimmy Butler and just ignite a fire and absolutely cost his team the series? Dude, as sick as I was the other night watching the Blue Raiders, that's the exact same sickness I had when the Boston Celtics won that Game 6 on the tip-in buzzer beater. And I was just like, it's like I'm just staring at the TV for the next 2 hours, wishing I could do something about it. But
well, you probably wish you had Jimmy's haircut right about now because he's emo Jimmy and not playoff Jimmy.
He is. No, he's back.
So.
He got it braided. Just relax. That's always a good sign when Jimmy Buckets is trolling this early in the season. But I need the Owls to continue the South Florida sports magic because My Marlins, my God, embarrassing. I mean, yeah, freaking grand slam in the 7th inning of the playoffs. Playoffs. Anyway, that's it for the American Conference. USA already played all their games. We already talked about it. Little Maction, little Saturday Maction. Western Michigan going to Mississippi State. Seems a little bit late for a money game like that, but noon kickoff in Starkville. Western Michigan, we'll see what they can do there. 3 touchdown dogs. Toledo is almost 3 touchdown favorites at UMass. 12 noon kickoff. A little early kickoff for Toledo. I think there could be a lot of points. Like, I think there might be some points in this game. UMass didn't win anything, but they're giving people a lot of trouble, Jeff.
Yeah, they are, and they've shown the ability to run the ball. And like we've seen last week against NIU, if you can run the ball against Toledo, you're going to be able to hang around. I think Toledo does take care of them, but I'm with you on the points being scored. It could get up there. I'm not sure what the over/under is on that game, but maybe worth looking at if it's a little lower.
Yeah, I like it. Central Michigan at Buffalo. Central Michigan 3-point favorites on the road. Last week all the home teams were favored. Seems like a lot of home dogs this week. Tip, I'm going to go to you on this one. Central Michigan at Buffalo. What do you got?
Yeah, so this one's interesting. Buffalo coming off their first win of the year last week against Akron. But I mean, I'm just gonna be honest with you guys. Like, I think Akron's a little down this year. At least that's how they've looked and seem to be so far this season. And for Buffalo to win that game 13-10 in overtime, I don't think they can score enough points, even though they're playing at home. Central Michigan's had 2 huge wins the last 2 weeks, beating South Alabama on the road and then beating a good Eastern Michigan team at home. We usually talk about we like to take the home dogs, but I think Central Michigan goes in there and beats Buffalo.
It's a good pick. Ball State going to Eastern Michigan. Eastern Michigan 2.5-point favorites. I think the Eastern Michigan guys get that done. Bowling Green at Miami of Ohio. 3:30 kickoff. Miami 10-point favorites. Bowling Green coming off of a gigantic Power 5 upset of Georgia Tech. This is a recipe for a Miami of Ohio blowout, in my opinion. Miami of Ohio is quietly really good. Very, very good on defense. So Bowling Green, I don't think is going to be able to put up as many points as they did against a bad Georgia Tech team. Going on the road to Miami of Ohio, Bowling Green is going to be living off of that Georgia Tech win for the rest of the year. I think Miami of Ohio big. I think they cover.
Yeah, I bet you'll see a lot of people betting Bowling Green to cover that 9.5 or 10-point spread.
Don't do it.
But I think this is just going to show how bad Georgia Tech really is.
That's right.
But yeah, I agree. I think this has Miami of Ohio by 14 plus points.
I also think this may show how good those Miami Hurricanes are, Sprouse. I mean, that's the only team that's really got Miami, Ohio, and I think they were so fired up for that game because Brett Gabbert's running his mouth, flapping his gums, and that's why he got them all fired up. That could have been a sneak-up game for Miami, Ohio.
Well, and even in that game, Miami of Ohio's defense played, especially their run defense, played pretty well against Miami, Florida. So they're good. I mean, I got a little itch to get up to Oxford at some point this season. So you guys, you guys let me know. I've heard, but let me just state right now, ain't no hotels. So I don't know what you would do if you go there. I don't know if anybody's got a dorm room or maybe there's a hostel in Oxford, Ohio, but there ain't nothing there. But yeah, I think that's a big win for the Red Hawks. Kent State going to Ohio. Ohio's another one. Well, Kent State, first of all, is just they're struggling. But Ohio, another really good team in the MAC. Right now, you got Ohio, Miami, and Toledo that have been pretty much running through this conference. So I think they're all going to get it done again this week. NIU. Swaggy, I think NIU is going to get in the win column this week. They're touchdown favorites on the road at Akron. DJ Irons is out for the year. ACL, wasn't it?
I believe so.
Yeah.
That sucks. So NIU, I think, is going to be able to get in the win column there. They played bad. I mean, they played pretty good. What's that?
Don't ask me to comment on that game. I'm over him.
Completely off. Well, I won't ask you to comment. I'm just telling you. You can, look forward.
You know what? I'm going to go plus 6.5 Akron.
Oh no, I would not do that.
I'm kidding. I'm not suicidal for
that. Moving on to the Mountain West. Couple games, and then there's a couple Mountain West games that we've got as our games of the week. But big one here, Colorado State, 2-point favorites at Utah State in the night game. I'm gonna tell you, I got Utah State in this game. They've lost 3 games, but they have not been blown out, and they've lost to Iowa, Air Force, and James Madison. So they've been putting up some points. They put up a ton of points against James Madison. In Colorado State, I mean, look, their most impressive win is the win in Murfreesboro, and I mean, my God, we saw what kind of team that is. So I think Utah State is a little better than we think, and I still am not sold on Colorado State. I got the Aggies.
Can I get other 2 people's opinions? Yeah.
Yeah.
Talking to you, Jeff.
Yeah.
You're one of 2.
Okay. No, I just don't know how you stop all these weapons. I mean, Torrey Horton, I know it's against Utah Tech, right? Torrey Horton had 227 yards last week and 3 touchdowns. Dallin Holker, 94 yards and a touchdown. I mean, he has been an absolute problem, both of those guys, for every team they've come across. Nicolosi throws for 400 yards again, 4 touchdowns. I mean, Mummy's got this offense humming. The defense is still getting up some points. I don't know if Kamara's fully healthy yet. I know they're on the road. I like Colorado State. I think they continue to roll. I think they're a lot better than they were a year ago, and they're starting to really show it.
Yep.
Yeah, I agree. I think Colorado State. You got Torrey Horton on your team. I'm gonna pick them to win, but I will say this. Jesse, if you're looking for some betting advice or a bet, over under this game, 62. It's high. Still take the over. Both of these teams are giving up over 425 yards per game. So very high scoring game. I see this one staying close the whole game, going back and forth. But I give the slight edge to Colorado State in this game.
Yeah. I watched that Utah State Connecticut game pretty hard last week, and that the defense for Utah State's just really not impressive. Their offense is. So I'm going with you, Tip. I think the over is the play on this one, which I just selected. Okay.
What was they did a little article on ESPN about how Mummy in the air raid today, or the other day. I didn't read all the way through it. I'm usually I kind of read the headline and just pass it along, but I saw that, and then I saw Matt Mummy retweeted it out, so I didn't know if anybody had a chance to take a look at that, but it is on the old ESPN. Of course, they're not going to give any Group of 5 love, but a little bit of love for Coach's family there and the air raid. By the way, Jeff, I'm going to put you on the spot here. Las Vegas Raiders on the clock. You need a wide receiver. Malachi Corley and Torrey Horton are both sitting there. Who do you want?
Jeez Louise, that's a tough one. I mean, you can't go wrong with either one of them, but
whichever one runs the fastest 40 at the combine is who you're taking.
If Al Davis is still alive, absolutely. I think I'm taking Torrey Horton just because he's a little bit bigger, and he's special when the ball's in his hands. I'm not saying Corley's not. You're talking 1A and 1B, but if you had to stick a gun to my head, I'm gonna go Torrey Horton.
I like it. Sun Belt Conference. The Red Wolves. Are they back?
Brick.
No, they got no shot. But the line went down now. It was 17 on Tuesday.
Likes them.
Down to 16.5. 4 p.m. kickoff at Troy. Tip, we don't have this one as one to talk about, but I feel like we got to talk about it. Tip, is Butch Jones back? Is he taking a Power 5 job next year after taking the Arkansas State Red Wolves to bowl eligibility?
That scenario honestly would not surprise me, especially if Arkansas State gets to a bowl game and wins the bowl game. Butch's phone could be ringing with some Power 5.
You're gonna call him after the past couple of years he's had. Come on now, give him a couple of years.
He's back. That guy's the ultimate used car salesman, though.
Yeah,
Like,
he is.
Somehow he can sell
a Porsche.
himself. Yeah, he can sell ice to an Eskimo. Somehow he just sells it.
This is the guy when he was at Tennessee. He had Alvin Kamara as a backup running back. If that tells you everything you need to know about Coach Butch Jones,
Top
right
5
there.
recruiting class.
Yeah, who was that kid they had ahead of him?
Jalen
Hurd.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If I'm John Sommerall,
Never heard of him.
I'm gonna make Butch Jones cry this weekend. That's your goal every time we play Arkansas State. Can we make him cry tonight?
Could you imagine Butch Jones if they were in Lafayette, like circa 2011 era with those students? I mean, that poor guy would be needing to see an emotional support system after the game.
But as far as this game goes,
anyway.
yes, Arkansas State is red hot. It's one of those group of 5 teams that has made the quarterback change, and they're red hot. But you're going to Troy, and Troy's also red hot, coming off that loss a couple weeks ago to James Madison. Troy's going to win this game, and honestly, man, 16 points is a lot.
A
lot of points. But, I mean, you look at Arkansas State's defense giving up 273 yards passing per game. And Gunnar Watson's looked really impressive the last few weeks. So, Troy's going to cover 16, 17, whatever.
Wow.
Troy wins.
I like it.
Troy covers.
I like it, Tip. South Alabama -12 at Monroe. Let me tell you something. This game's a little scary. Now, Jesse was trying to convince us why Monroe was so good after their big win at Lamar earlier in the season, but
yeah, I forgot about that.
But I do think Monroe's going to cover this. I think South Alabama is going to get it done, but they better figure it out quickly, or they're going to get left behind real fast.
God. I think I'm going to take them +10. They're +10 now.
Ooh, well, hey, yeah.
Somebody's firing on the Warhawks.
Yeah,
I would still take it. I mean, they looked good against App State last week.
Scored a bunch of points.
Got it.
Yep.
All right.
All right. Then you got Old Dominion at Southern Miss. I mean, 2 good, bad teams here. Southern Miss, this is basically a pick 'em. Man, Southern Miss, I can't figure them out. They should be good. But they're not.
What do you think, Jeff?
I'm not betting this game.
Are you just putting together are you putting together just one huge parlay?
No, I got 5 of them already locked in. But this one right here, I'm locked in.
I don't know who to pick because ODU plays all these teams tough and then they lose. Southern Miss does not look good, but they're at home. Stay away from it. There's plenty of other games to bet if you're going to bet one.
Yeah.
Understood. Next.
Over 58.
I do like Southern Miss in that game. I'm not going to bet on it. I like Southern Miss. I think they pull it out at the Rock.
Let's get to our games of the week, and there are some good ones. If y'all are looking at my little paper here, I'm going to start from the bottom. I kind of messed up the order. If that's
now we're here.
Started from the bottom. Now we're here. Was that the only song that you knew when you?
I'm gonna tell you,
the whole time I was like,
the first hour I was there, it reminded me, like when we went Post Malone at one time, like I was into it.
Yeah,
he was playing classics. He started out with Marvin's Room. I'm like, I know this stuff. Like it was circa Jordan Johnson back in 2011. I knew all these songs.
I was waiting.
And when he started, whenever 21 Savage came out there, I didn't know what was going on, and my eyes were so red. I mean, it was foggy in that place.
Those are bad.
Yeah.
Where was it? Is that State Farm? It was State Farm.
It was State Farm.
And I was thinking, because when we went to see Post Malone, and Gucci Mane came out, like me, Lauren, and Michaela were all like, "Oh," and Jesse was like, "Sprouts, that's Gucci Mane," and I was like, "Yeah, that right there is good." I'm like, "Yeah, dude," and then
who the hell is that?
Yeah, I was just thinking, dude. When I saw Michaela's story, I was like, Jesse's gonna know that damn song. They know, they know, they know.
Yeah, I didn't
And
know
that's
that one.
it.
That was my ringtone for like a
I
couple of
don't know
years.
anything else, dude.
I tell you what,
Anyway.
21 Savage came out, you would have thought that like
I bet that place.
I don't even. I can't even think of somebody like
Jesus.
maybe President Obama was walking out there because that place erupted.
Well, he came out at Post Malone too. Remember?
I didn't know who he was then either.
Yeah, he's on. He's on.
I know he did all his
Rockstar.
song. He did all. Yeah. He actually performed Rockstar, and I felt pretty important. I knew that song.
Good job. Hey,
Anyway.
so anyway, I don't know where. Oh, I'm going to start from the bottom on the outline. How about this on the CW? Is that the Country Western Network? Is that what that is? I think so.
CW is a local cable network. Riverdale's on that sometimes. That's how I know.
Well, it sounds like a Country Western
CW.
show to me. But Marshall at NC State, NC State's coach or some idiot reporter for NC State. I don't know if y'all saw this the other night. They was talking about bringing in a new quarterback, and is it easier bringing him in against this Marshall team because you have Clemson and Miami coming up? Oh boy, Marshall upset special. We got it as our underdog of the week. 6.5 point dogs at NC State, 2 p.m. on the CW. I'm going to go around the horn here. Let me tell you this. I think this game is all about Cam Fancher. Can he manage the game? NC State's run defense is actually pretty good, so I don't think Ali is going to be able to get it going too much. Now, NC State's, they've been turning it over a little bit. So I think this is going to be which quarterback doesn't turn it over is going to win this game. I got to go Marshall because I got Marshall rolling through this 8-game stretch 8-0, and they got to get to 3 today. Murph?
I mean, I like Marshall as well. They're the second-ranked defense in the Sun Belt with yards per game allowed, and they're the ones that need to show up, especially now you got a little bit of bulletin board material. Show up and show out. Shut this offense down, this quarterback down, and then offensively get the ball to Ali. It doesn't have to necessarily be 20 handoffs. Get him 20 total touches at least, whether it's a pass in the flat, split him out wide. Definitely, hand him the ball off early, get him going. But he is electric when he has the ball in his hands. But you got to play through him, and I agree with you. Can Fancher be effective enough throwing the ball? He likes to run it. He can get outside and make some people miss. But run it through Ali and trust your defense to stop NC State.
The CW is CBS and Warner Brothers merger combination. Should be Country Western. That's what they're going to have. That's what the Pac-12 was going to be on. That's why they all got out of there. Anyway, Tip, what do you think about this game?
For Marshall, hold on to the football, protect the football, don't turn it over, win that turnover battle, and you can win this game. And NC State, they've won. They're 3-2 this year. Their wins, they're honestly not that impressive. They've beat UConn by 10 points, VMI, and Virginia. And coming off a loss last week against Louisville, I honestly just think Marshall is flat out the better team here. So I'm obviously going to take Marshall. That's our dog pick of the week. Marshall goes in there and gets it done.
Swaggy?
Yeah, mine's piggyback off Tip. And all I was going to say was you put these two teams in two neutral jerseys. I didn't know if it was a Power 5 or Group of 5. I think Marshall is just the better team. So they should be able to get this done. I'm taking Marshall money line. I think they're going to pull up the win.
I like it. Marshall's got it rolling. Staying in the Sun Belt, Jeff, your Bobcats going down to Ragin' Cajun land, a pick'em, 3:30 in the afternoon. I hope that we can just all my hope for in this game is that we get the Louisiana fans back to what they once were and what we all know them to have been. And surely this game is big enough for them to do that. And if they do that, they got a chance. If they don't do that, Texas State may come in there and put up a ton of points and run out of there with a big win.
The old hot sauce bowl, Texas Pete versus Louisiana hot sauce. Which one comes out on top? I'm surprised. -1. The Bobcats are only 1 point favorites. Is that right? Am I reading that right?
It was Louisiana was. I don't know if it's moved. Louisiana was
It has
open.
moved.
What
What is it?
Two
What
and
is
a
it?
half. 2.5.
Louisiana's
Louisiana
favored?
favorite.
2.5?
Louisiana's favorite minus 2.5. Yes.
Mind blowing. The number one offense in the Sun Belt this year with 491 yards per game is a road dog. I mean, TJ Finley has looked great all season. He just needs to continue to be consistent, protect the ball. He's done a good job at that. Give Marty the number of touches he needs. You get him to that 18 to 20 number. You've seen what he can do. He can rattle off 200 yards in a heartbeat. The defense is what worries me for the Bobcats. They have given up a lot of points, and Chris has shown to be electric for the Cajuns. And if I'm a Cajun coach, when he came in that first game, you did a great job of running a lot of naked bootlegs, a lot of sprint outs that gives him the option to throw it and run it. I think you got to continue to do that because that gives him, just kind of clears the picture up, when you got a young quarterback, and it gives him the opportunity to run as well. But I'm taking the Bobcats. I mean, they were my dark horse to win it all. I'm going to ride with them. I'm just shocked that Louisiana's the favorite.
Tip.
Yeah, I think they might, in this case, might just be giving them some points because they're playing at home. But I mean, what a massive game this is, and this is one of those games where, when we were looking at the schedule and looking at this at the beginning of the year, we didn't know necessarily it was going to be like it is, and the implications of this game today. I'm looking at Jacob Cabote, running back for Louisiana, like Murph mentioned. Texas State's defense has been giving up a lot of yards, been giving up a lot of points. But I have to go with who I think the better offense is, and I think that's Texas State. So I'm taking Texas State as the road dogs in this game, and I think they go in and close game. I think this is going to be one of those. I think Louisiana is going to come out hot in this game, big for this huge game at home, but going to go with the top ranked offense in the Sun Belt. Going to take Texas State to win this game.
Swaggy.
I like Texas State. I'm going to take the road dog.
Yeah, I don't think Zion Chris wants to get in a shootout with TJ Finley. I think that if Creme Brulee and Terry Johnson got into a fight, I think Terry Johnson would probably kick Creme Brulee's ass. Terry Johnson does like judo or something like that. He's like a former Marine. I don't know, something like that. But yeah, I'm going 4 for 4. I think Texas State's red hot. Red hot, almost like a Louisiana hot sauce. Like Frank's Red Hot. Where's Frank's Red Hot from?
Not sure.
It's in my refrigerator. That's the one I go with.
That's the one you go with. Okay.
I love Frank's. Put
Yeah.
that shit on everything.
Yeah, you do. Yeah, 4 for 4 on the Bobcats. San Jose State at Boise State. I do not like this. This Boise State quarterback situation is really bugging me, and I don't like it at all. Boise State's 9.5-point favorites. Night game. I think Boise State is going to win this game, barely, and not pretty at all. And I think the Boise fan base is going to start getting a little loud about some changes to be happening there in Idaho. But yeah, I just think Boise's got a little too much talent, and I think they'll be able to win this game. Murph?
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see who starts the game at quarterback for Boise State and who they kind of roll with. I mean, they basically came out and said that they're going to play both of them. It's going to be a 2-quarterback system against San Jose State. I've never liked the 2-quarterback system. I think it's extremely hard to get in a rhythm as a quarterback when you're in one series and out the next. It just always kind of messed with me when I was put in that situation. But we'll see who comes out on top. Maddox Madsen, he looked to be the better thrower at Memphis. He just got put in, I think, a little bit too late there. But you feed Genty. I mean, San Jose State's defense has struggled this year. They've given up a lot of points. Let Ashton Genty be the guy. Run the offense through him. And then, manage your quarterbacks well and put them in advantageous passing opportunities. But I think this game is going to be a lot closer than 9.5. I'd take San Jose State plus 9.5 just because you got an elite quarterback on the other side, Cordero. He just doesn't have a ton of weapons. But Hennigan, I thought last week ran the ball decent from the quarterback spot against Boise State, and Cordero's a much better athlete than Hennigan is. So I think it's closer to 9.5. You know what? I picked San Jose State to win the Mountain West. I think they beat Boise State. This is going to be a big game. They have to get it if they're going to make it to the championship game.
Tip?
Yeah, I do think Chevon Cordero is going to have success against this Boise State defense that just hasn't looked as good as they have in recent years. But just to be honest, for Boise State, I don't think it really matters who's playing quarterback when. I just see this being an Ashton Genty game. He just looks so dominant since he's been in this lead running back role. I am taking San Jose State with the points to cover the 9.5 or 10 points. But I think Boise State wins this game by a touchdown.
Swag?
Yeah, I don't think it's gonna be a blowout by Boise State. They potentially can win. I'm gonna take the easy way out and say Boise State does win. But to Jeff's credit, I mean San Jose State, they're pretty good. So I think it's gonna make it a really close game. Can they win this game? For sure. I think this is gonna be a very disappointing season for Boise State, from especially where you had on preseason.
Me?
That wasn't a shot at you. I'm just saying, like,
Yeah, no, I agree.
if they lose this game,
agree.
like their season's probably just done.
No, I agree. I'm
Look, I had NIU. All right. I mean,
we all get one.
You
But you know who else? I also had the South Florida Bulls, and they're back. Game of the week here. Guys, this is the Fox primetime game, by the way. Shout out to Fox giving the Mountain West their 8 p.m. Eastern kickoff game. It's not, we don't get Gus.
Damn,
Gus
I was
is
gonna
on
say,
the
you're
noon.
getting Gus.
man.
No, I already looked. Gus is on the noon kickoff. We're getting Tim Brando and somebody else, but it's not bad. Not terrible. But yeah, I would have loved to have Gus Johnson and Laramie. But Fresno State's 6-point favorites at Wyoming, 8 p.m. kickoff. That environment's going to be fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. Can't wait to see it on TV. Before I make my pick, I want to go with Jeff on this first. What do you got?
This is going to be such a fantastic game. These are two fantastic teams in the Mountain West going ahead. You got one of the best offenses in the Mountain West against one of the top defenses in the Mountain West. In Laramie, which, like you stated, is going to be an electric environment. Jeff Tedford right now has to be in conversations for Coach of the Year awards, considering everything that he lost on offense last year, replacing multitude of players. Mikey Keene is ranked 12th in the country right now in passing yards. You gotta let this offense roll. It's been good for you, but the biggest surprise of this team for me is the defense. The defense is what sets this team apart. Carlton Johnson right now is tied for the lead in the country with 4 interceptions at the cornerback spot. They're ranked 14th in the nation in yards allowed. So, can Wyoming score points is going to be my question. I think their defense is going to stifle this Fresno State offense a little bit, but can Andrew Peasley and Harrison Whaley, can they get that run game going? Because Peasley has not thrown it great this year. He's done a better job protecting the ball, not turning it over. But I just don't know how you completely stop this Fresno State offense. As good as Wyoming's defense is, I'm taking the Bulldogs. I think they get the W.
What's the over/under on this game? Does anybody have it in front of them?
44.
Yeah, I kind of have the same thing as you, Jeff. I think Fresno's defense, especially their run defense, is just too good. I think Wyoming's D is going to keep them in it. But Fresno's D, they're going to keep Whaley in check. And then, like you said, they don't throw it a ton. But by the way, Mikey Keene right now, 14 touchdowns, 4 interceptions, tied for 8th in the country. Number 1 in the group of 5, tied with Shager at Hawaii. And by the way, it's tied for 8, but there's like 3 guys with 15, 3 guys with 16, and then Caleb Williams has like 21. So he won the Heisman. So right there at the top of the country for Mikey Keene. I mean, talk about a transfer destination that worked out for him. It is working out right now. But I'm going to pick Fresno. I'm real tempted to take Wyoming +6, but I think Fresno, I could see Fresno scoring a late touchdown to win. I could see tie game. Wyoming's D's got a hold, and they finally break in the fourth quarter late, and Fresno's going to win this game. Tip?
Yeah, I think this game's going to be real close, tied, real close going into the fourth quarter. Wyoming 4-0 at home so far this season. We've seen these teams that have gone and traveled and played at Wyoming. They've had a hard time, especially on the start of the games. So look to see Wyoming come out early and maybe get an early lead. But I just think Fresno State's offense with Mikey Keene's just too good in this one. Like you said, Sprouse, I can see Fresno State, couple of minutes left in the game, it's tied, or they're down a couple of points, 1, 2, 3 points. They drive down and get a game winning touchdown. So I'm taking Fresno State here on the road to win this game.
Swag Bear, take us home.
I have a problem where I always want to follow my heart, and my heart wants to go with Wyoming because I know it's going to be electric. I know it's going to be a huge game for them. Prime time. Sorry, Dion, this is prime time. However, in the words of Phil Collins and Seal, all you're going to do is just break my heart. I have my heart given to MTSU. It's shattered. I have no more heart to give. I got to start thinking with what the good Lord gave me, this big old brain. Fresno State is probably the best team in the group of 5 right now. And they're hot. They have a good defense, good offense. I think Fresno may just go and whip their ass. It may be like a 2-score win for Fresno. That's what my brain says. And I'm going to listen to it this time. Fresno, big over Wyoming.
Wow. I like
Shut the door on them.
Hey,
Either
real
I'm gonna be
quick.
right or wrong.
Real quick before we sign off and these games really get going here. Sun Belt Conference, Mountain West Conference. Give me top to bottom who has the better game day environments. Jeff Murphy.
You said Mountain West and Sun Belt?
Yes, I did. Quit stalling.
Yes.
Give me what you got.
You gotta go App State and Sun Belt, I think.
No.
No. He wants to know which one's better.
Conference
Mount
as
West
a
or Sun
whole.
Belt?
Oh, as a whole.
Yep.
In-game environments.
It's gonna be Sun Belt just because the top of the Mountain West is really, really good, but there ain't much in the middle, and you got a couple schools that don't show up at all.
Tip.
Yeah, I agree. Top to bottom, it's got to be Sun Belt.
Swag.
I'm going to give Mountain West some love here because they have Utah State's probably at the. I mean, would you consider them at the bottom because they show up?
No,
State,
not at
Fresno,
the bottom of the environment.
I mean, is there anybody in Mountain West that's as bad as Georgia State? I mean, I hate to keep.
I don't know.
San Jose State's pretty bad.
Okay. I think the answer is Sun Belt, and I hate to just say because it's in the Southeast because college football probably just means a little more, maybe. But Mountain West, I mean, hell, Wyoming's one of my I want to go there so bad.
Yeah,
I want to see a Wyoming game, but I have to go with Sun Belt.
Yeah, I think I'm with you because Georgia State's about the only one. Monroe.
San Diego State and San Jose State.
San Diego
are
State's
both
pretty bad.
It's strange.
Well, and
Nevada's
I mean,
bad.
Nevada's bad. Air Force ain't good. I mean, it ain't great. I can tell you that.
Hawaii's okay, right? Probably in the middle.
Only now that they're not playing in that big stadium.
Maybe a better question would have been top 3 environments in Mountain West compared to the top 3 environments in Sun Belt. Which one's better? That would get
not bad.
That gets Jeff's hair standing up. He's like, well,
So
we'll look
who are the top
hair
3 in the
standing up.
Mountain West? Who are the top 3?
Top 3 in the Mountain West. You got Fresno's got to be one.
Fresno, Wyoming.
You could put
Boise.
I don't think it's
for
Boise.
sure, Boise.
I don't think it's Boise.
When Boise's
It could
good,
be
that place is rocking.
Yeah, when Boise, it could be Colorado State.
Yeah,
I mean, their students.
I was there last year. It wasn't super
Wasn't that
full.
all that?
I mean,
Man,
it was
maybe
good.
it
It was
is
a good
Boise.
student section. They've been pretty poor for a while.
Maybe it is Boise.
So I would probably say you got to go Boise. I think.
And
Who's
then
the
in
top 3 in the Sun Belt? I mean, are we all gonna be able to? I mean,
App State's
James
number one.
Madison's number one. You got to put James Madison number
Yeah, you
one.
got to.
I would
otherwise
say
you're-
James Madison,
they
App
gotta
State, and
go.
Georgia Southern.
Yeah.
I'm not any particular order.
I don't know. Marshall seems cracking.
Yeah, we hadn't been to Marshall. We got to get we got to get up there.
Troy?
Yeah, it's nobody. Yeah, Troy.
I'm not gonna praise Troy, man.
Yeah.
It's okay.
It's fine. Yeah. Yeah, but
Compared to what
it
we've seen.
put it this way. This is how you tell. You watch the game on TV, and if there's a crowd difference, Georgia Southern, yes. App State, yes. James Madison, yes. All those Mountain West schools we talked about, yes. But like Troy, you hear you wouldn't hear like the crowd going nuts on TV at Troy.
No.
Anyway, it's a good question. We might have to propose that to the Twitter sphere and let them have at it. But anyway, that's all we got for you guys today. Group of 5 live. We got a bunch of good games coming up. Hope you guys enjoy them. If you do like the show, if you do like the Group of 5 guys, we need you to go to YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify. Subscribe to the channel. Give us a 5-star rating and review. Leave us a comment. Tell your family and friends all about us. Live show every Tuesday night. Live show every Saturday morning during the season. We're having a ton of fun. Follow us on all the social media platforms at Group of 5 Guys, and go follow the page on Facebook as well. Search Group of 5 Guys. Go to group5guys.com. Get you some sweet swag. That's all we got for y'all.